Lux. I'm here to talk to you today about Hoya, and yeah, so how are you today? I am doing fantastic. Happy fall to you. Yay! Alright, Hoya it is. Let's talk. Let's get right into it. So I'm going to start with my prized Hoya, which is all of them, but this one in particular, for some reason, I got a mother load of Peduncles. So this is a special Hoya to me. It is a smaller one, but it's kind of got a lot of long leggy things going on here. Okay, so backstory on this is my daughter gave this to Christmas. My daughter gave this to me for Christmas last year, so it's special to me. This is a Hoya Bella. The leaves are a little bit thinner. This is a Hoya that needs watering more than some of the other Hoya that I'm going to show you today. So
You need to stop laughing, so I stop laughing.
Ooh, that even made me a little embarrassed. Wow, I don't get embarrassed very easily. Okay. So, okay. All right, so the peduncles here are obviously a reason why I'm so enamored with this baby. I mean, my daughter gave this Hoya to me. It's super special because she gave it to me, and it's just like blooming like a plant that's loved would. I mean, the daughter, Taylor, gave me this ever-blooming peduncle fiend freaking out Hoya. I can't even tell you how happy I am. Every stinking stem has a peduncle on it. Taylor, I don't know what I'm doing, but thank you. You gave me like the best Hoya ever. So guys, yeah, Hoya Bella, if you want an easy peduncle maker, bloomer, Hoya Bella, because this isn't like a north-facing window. And it started out as a scrawny, little scraggly looking thing. It really did. It was cute though. We knew it would go well. It was a teeny tiny baby, and now look at it. Okay, so Hoya Bella, yay, awesome, get one. Telling you, best gift ever. Thank you, Taylor, you're the best plant gifter. Okay, so moving right along. So I gave you like my best bloomer because, you know, for those of you who are new to Hoya, it's hard to get your Hoya to bloom because it takes time, fertilization, proper lighting, I don't know, love, I have no idea. But, I mean, I do have some idea. I guess I shouldn't say no.
Well, you've only ever gotten that one to bloom so far.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this one that came upside down in a box in the mail. This is called a Hoya Carnosa. It's been on the struggle bus ever since I got it. And yeah, it's probably gonna stay on the struggle bus. But these guys take forever to grow. Maybe by the time I'm 65 or 70, I'll see some peduncles on this bad boy maybe. And maybe some legs. But these take a long time to grow. Okay, Hoyas hate having their root system interrupted. This guy was completely out of its pot. Hoyas prefer to be root bound and undisturbed in their pots. So if you get a Hoya, just know, keep it in whatever pot it came in as long as you possibly can, because the roots are kind of like divas. So that's what happened to this guy, upside down, exploded, and it hasn't grown at all. It's been on a struggle bus, but it's alive. So I'm doing something right, it's still alive. Normally they would just die. It went through a crispy stage, but anyway. I'm gonna put this one over here because I just noticed there was a little webbing on it. So it needs to be in quarantine. Can you take it? All right. Okay. Next up. Let's talk about this really interesting creature right here called the Hoya Obavata. I see webbing on this one too. Shit. I guess it's good to look at your stuff under a grow light. Okay, so this is called the Hoya Obavata, and this has like some speckles on it. This one is intermittently on the struggle bus. Yeah, it has some silver speckling. I tend to forget about it, so it will do a couple of things when you have it in too much sun and when you forget to water it. The first thing is it'll get all wrinkly and unsightly looking, but once you water it, eventually it will correct itself. The other thing it'll do is it will get black spots like that when it's gotten too much sun, or you've neglected it so much so that there was too much sun and not enough water. So this side of the leaf looks great. The other side is kind of questionable, but you get my drift. So this is cool looking though. I've seen several on Instagram that are like just full and lush and lots of, you know, tendrils coming down. This is a tiny, tiny one. If I had my way, I'd have like 3 of these in a pot, and it would just be, you know, like coming down with these big jobs, these big stems, big leaves coming down the side. That would be cool, don't you think, Taylor?
No.
Yeah, but this is a tiny one. I was just experimenting. I like the look of it. It's cool. So Hoya Obavata, whatever. It's super easy to care for. I have neglected it. Really, there's no reason this plant should be alive. I'm going to be honest with you. I literally forgot about it for like 2 months. Whoopsie. Okay, moving on. All right. All right, another plant that my daughter got me, which is a special plant for me. This is called a Hoya Crinkle 8. It's very, very pretty. It's grown a ton, and yeah, it is really fun plant. I'm just checking it for pests. Okay, I don't see any. So a fun plant. Okay, this plant obviously is going to store a lot of water in its leaves because its leaves are thick, and it's just got so much cool texture. It is a really cool looking plant, fun looking. Now I'm not really sure what's going on over here, but I think maybe the dog knocked the plant over, so not sure what this is all about. But the leaves are yellowing, which is a sign that it might need to be cut and maybe propagated. I don't know. I might keep you updated on this in a prior video. This guy got harmed, but it did get knocked over with Whiskey's big tail. Anyway, Taylor got me this for Christmas last year also. Very pretty. Hoya Crinkle 8. One of the easiest plants I've ever had to take care of. Let it dry out. That's all I gotta say. Let it dry out. It's in a north-facing window, and it's happy as a clam. I had it in a more brightly lit area, and it did not like it, and it did get little black spots on it, so I moved it immediately to the other side of the house, and ever since then, it's been happy as can be. So, you know, Hoyas like bright and direct light, but some Hoyas prefer less light than others. This is one of them I found. So is the Bella. And also the Obavata. Obavata, I think, doesn't like really bright light because that's where I had it, and it reacted poorly. Another Hoya that doesn't really like a whole ton of light but is doing amazingly and smashingly is this beauty. This gorgeous gem was such a find. I was actually with Taylor. Remember the time we bought this together? It was probably about down to here. Mm-hmm. It was such a pretty find. This is in Lowe's, of all places. And now it's a year later, give or take. And it is fabulous. Look at the foliage and how big this guy is. He just is so happy. North-facing window. Water it maybe once a month. So easy to take care of. So easy. I'm telling you. This is one of the easiest plants I own. Yeah, and if, by the way, if you have a Hoya and you see these things, okay, these are new leaves about to happen. They just haven't formed yet. So don't ever cut these off, okay? But yeah, really impressed with this. You can tell the side that's facing the north-facing window though, because look how much growth is here, and then that's the other side. So it's just kind of a clue. I don't turn this plant, so obviously all the growth is on this side. Beautiful. This is a Hoya Obavata. Not sure of the variety. I know there's several, but it is called a Hoya Obavata on the label. And then there's also this Hoya, which is a Hoya Obavata. I think it had like the number 69 on it or something. So it had some kind of number associated with it. Now, were you with me when we got this one too?
Well, I bought both of those at the Richmond Lowe's. And I brought one of them home with me, and I gave you one.
Okay. So, yeah. So this one is different. It's a little drier, not as waxy. Of course, that might be my mistake. I did water this.
Well, it's also like more purple.
Yeah, I did water this recently, but it was pretty bone dry. Don't let your Hoyas dry completely out. I mean, like, to the point where they're like starving to death. But this one has been like this since I bought it, so I think that this is just kind of a feature of the plant, but I did just recently water it, so it's still, I think it's still recuperating anyway. It's a really pretty one. It has a lot of purpley leaves. That is what it looks like. Really cool. The leaves are honestly thinner on this one than the previous one I just showed. Again, super low maintenance. All I do is water it. I have it in a window that's probably receiving morning sun. So yeah, this is another Hoya Obavata, just a different variety. If you look at the side-by-side comparison, they look a little different. These leaves are much thicker, and these leaves are thinner, and they just have a different look. These ones get purple, and there's nothing purple on this one at all. And these leaves are wider, by the way. They're just wider and fatter. So there's that. All right. This is I recently propagated the whole bottom part of this Hoya linearis. This is a beautiful Hoya linearis, and it really was about down to here. I chopped it and propagated all of the cuttings in my terrarium, and they're doing great. So I have a whole nother Hoya linearis to gift to you, Taylor, because that's why I did it.
Thank you.
To add to your collection. But this guy really enjoys being near the grow light, pulled back away from the window. He has little skinny leaves that hold water, but not a lot. So this is when you kind of have to police a little bit more with the watering can. I would say water it maybe once every 7 to 10 days. It does not like to dry out completely. That's what I've found. It doesn't like to be overwatered, but it doesn't like to dry out completely. It begins to be mad and upset and lose leaves in that case. So I keep it near my grow light, but it's pulled back from a north-facing window. So it kind of gets the best of both worlds because the grow light's like over yonder. It's not right next to it, but yeah, it's happy where it is now.
That's an industrial big grow light, though.
Yeah, that's true.
One of these guys.
Yeah, it's a big grow light. So it's pulled back away from the light enough so that it's now I found its happy place. It took me a while though to find a happy place for this guy. It really did. But now it's happy, and I feel like it's going to give me lots of new growth because I see lots of new growth points on it. Again, the Hoya linearis. Okay, well, I think that this one, since it's in front of me, is the next one I'm going to talk about. I can't pull it out of the pot, Taylor, and I can't remember what it's called.
It's Kentiana, I think.
Yeah, it's
Can you not pull it out? Try.
There we go.
Oops.
Oh.
You pulled it off.
Straight out of the pot. I guess that one needs water, Dave.
Yeah, Kentiana.
Okay. Okay, so, the leaves on this Hoya Kentiana, there's a couple of varieties. You can get the variegated kind or you can get this green kind. Not secretly, I've sort of publicly made it known that I really want one that's variegated, but I just haven't been able to find one in stock. I absolutely love the variegated ones, my favorite, but I love this one too. It's got such pretty, very tropical looking leaves. I like the look of it. I really wish it was obviously long and trailing, okay, but it's not. But eventually one day it will be. Super easy care plant. I have it pulled way back from the window. It seems to be doing just fine. I feel like if I pet it more in some light, it will grow faster though. I just, you do the math and the science on that. You stick it near a window, it'll grow faster. Anyway. So, this particular one, water it when it dries out. It does seem to dry out rather quickly. I'm not sure the reason why for this plant, but it has been doing that to me recently.
It's probably the soil mixture from the grower. Because I feel like all of the Hoyas that we got from that place dry out kind of fast.
Yeah, I actually do agree with you on that. And that's actually a really good point, Taylor, because that's something that viewers probably should know. Depending on where you buy your Hoya, really does dictate how often you water them. Because some of my Hoya, I don't have to water at all. They're still heavy in the pot. I try to lift them up and do like that test. And then some of them I like lift it up the next day and I'm like, oh my God, I thought I just watered this. You know, so it does depend on your soil mixture. It also depends on how root bound they are and how many roots are in that pot versus how much soil's in that pot. So that's something to consider when you have a Hoya, because Hoya do not like to be overwatered. The leaves will drop. It will not be a happy plant. So it's kind of a guessing game with Hoya. They are easy plants though, once you get to know your plant. So like we have some from this particular grower, and then we have some from some other growers. And, you know, I don't know, do you have any tips on that? I mean, what I do is I just water it, and then if it feels too light the next day, I water it again.
Yeah, well, I also check the leaves, and if they, like, depending on the Hoya, some of them leaves are supposed to be like stiffer, and if I can like bend it really easily, or they start to look like
wrinkled.
I don't know. Yours are all pretty well watered.
Well, this one is probably a good example. The Hoya Obavata.
Yeah. So this is normally like a thick leaf, and right now it's like flimsy. And
so it needs watered. Yeah. So that's actually a good tip. Yeah. If the leaves are bendy, make sure you water it again. Or maybe in that particular case, if you find that you're watering it too frequently, or you know, you want it to be more self-sufficient and only water it like once a month or something. In that case, even though Hoya like to be root bound, I would up-pot it, wouldn't you, Taylor?
I don't know. I've never up-potted a Hoya. I'm too scared.
I'm actually thinking about doing it to that Hoya Obavata because I feel like it's such a diva right now. It's like taking up my time to have to constantly go over because it's a tiny pot.
Oh yeah.
It's such a tiny pot that I have to keep watering it. Like this one, it's sort of rewarding because it's kicking out peduncles. Oh look, they made friends. Oh, anyway, over here.
You can always do the soil test.
Yes, you can do the soil test. And if you need one of those water meter things, it's cool to get one of those if you really don't want to play the guessing game. I don't have, nor have I owned, any water meters. And while I am a self-proclaimed plant expert, I learned just the same way you guys learned. I learned on YouTube, and I learned by reading blogs and books. So, you know, I just didn't really want the upkeep of having a water meter. So I literally pick up my plants, I look at the soil, I put my finger in the soil, I do all the old school methods. I don't really want to invest in water meters because my plants generally do like really well. They seem to thrive. So I figure why spend that money? Because they are expensive, guys. They are expensive. So save your money. Buy another plant. You know, that's how I rationed it. I'm like, well, I can figure this watering thing out because I can save $30 on water meters, or in my case, probably $200. Yeah, you know, save money on that, and then I can just buy more plants. You see how that works? Yeah. Okay. So anyway. The last two Hoya I'm going to talk about are this really pretty Hoya Krimson princess.
That one's queen, right?
No, this is a princess.
Oh, that one's princess.
And then this one's a queen. And I do have another queen downstairs that I wanted to talk about. Can you just give me a doody for 1-2 seconds?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go grab it because it's one of my bigger ones. So guys, all right. So the last two Hoyas I want to talk about are the Hoya Krimson Queen, which is a really cool Hoya. I've got this really big one that's really awesome and has so much awesome growth. Look at that thing. I mean, the leaves are just stunning, and I've had a lot of luck with, even though these are white and don't really get a lot of chlorophyll, they haven't died. So I'm so lucky. Yeah. So this is a Crimson
Show
Queen.
this leaf.
Yeah, look how big this leaf is, guys. It's almost the size of my hand. So this is a very big Hoya. it's just so, I love this. This is in my bathroom, in my master bath. It's so pretty. Look at this leaf over here too. Look at that one, it's so pretty. The leaves are just, they're stunning. They're stunning. All right, so there's a lot of tendrils on this. I've propagated this too, guys, so yeah. And then this is another Hoya Crimson Queen. It's beautiful. So what's the difference between a Hoya Crimson Queen and a Hoya Crimson Princess? This is a princess, okay? It has a lot of ruby colored pink leaves and also stems, which, you know, these also have ruby colored stems.
But their variegations are reversed.
But their variegations are reversed, that's right. So this one has variegation of green on the outside of the leaf and white in the middle. And this one's the opposite. It has white on the edges and green in the middle. So the care is pretty easy for these plants, honestly. If you are in the market for an easy care plant, I really recommend getting a Hoya. And these are gorgeous beauties. And you know, you're never going to be disappointed with the growth. One tip though, for sure, they always shoot out these really interesting vines that don't have leaves on them, but eventually they do get leaves on them. But it's going to just look like a plain old vine at first. So you see how this is a fuzzy vine, and there's a few others on this pretty big princess. You know, it's going to fill in eventually with a leaf. So if you see this, this is an example of how the leaves look when they're coming in. It's an awkward looking vine, okay? And then the leaves come in kind of tiny, and then they eventually look like this. So they do take a little time to grow though. So don't cut this. If you don't like that, just deal with it, because it eventually will put beautiful, gorgeous leaves on it. Okay? And you know, as far as like lighting, they prefer not to be in direct sunlight. Look at this, the roots are coming out the bottom. They prefer not to be in direct sunlight. They like indirect sunlight. So if you have them in a south-facing window, you will get black spots. You need to pull them back, okay? I recommend east or north. South-facing, they have to be pulled back a little bit so that the sun's not blasting on them. They don't like that. Yeah, so these are just some of my favorite plants right here. They're so easy to care for. So guys, the thicker the leaf, the more succulent like the leaf, the more water it holds. So if you miss a watering, it's not that big a deal. But when you see the Hoya leaves puckering or looking kind of wrinkly, then you know you better water them right away. And sometimes when you're in that situation, what I've done is I've taken a handful of water, I just set my Hoya right in there, and I let it soak up as much as it needs. And that's okay to do, to bottom water sometimes, okay? Because sometimes when you pass water through the top and it just goes out, it's sometimes not enough if it dries out too much, okay? So that's a tip. All right, so I think that pretty much wraps it up. Do you have anything else to add, Taylor, about these particular plants that you want to say with yours?
Well, if it is in a north or east facing window, then you definitely want it like right near the window.
Definitely.
South facing, pull it back just a little. I know some people put theirs in direct sunlight to get like some sun stress, which isn't necessarily bad for the plant, but
what does sun stress do to a plant?
it just makes it change color.
Yeah, right. So like I know a couple of plant tubers I've watched, they do it to make their leaves turn like a bright color, you know, like a red or like a yellow color, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But if you put like one of these in the sunlight, direct sunlight, what would happen, do you think, with these white leaves?
Well, those ones probably wouldn't make it.
So best bet, I guess my tip of the day would be, if you have one of these babies, you want to pull this baby back if you want to relish these gorgeous.
Actually, wouldn't they need more light because they're white and they don't?
I don't know. This is, you know exactly where this is in my bathroom. It's pulled back from the window,
but not too much. It's only like 3 feet away.
Yeah, but it's in like, I would say what, like a southeast. It gets morning sunlight basically, right?
Never.
But not
It's in a
direct.
west.
Totally indirect. Oh yeah, you're right. It is in west. That is west. So what would you do in a situation where you have like, you know, like straight up no variegation?
So if the leaves are reverting, I guess normally isn't that a sign that it's not getting enough light to keep the variegation? So you can move it closer to the window. Sometimes it just happens. So you can cut it off to encourage more variegation, but you can also just keep it so it looks cool, I think.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like it affected the variegation on any other part of the plant.
Would we miss it if I cut it though? Right? So it's up to you guys. It's totally a personal preference. I kept it on here because I like it. But if you don't like to have like the solid stuff, I think you're right. It would push out new growth other places. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And these vines on the princesses are kind of fuzzy. So just so you know, that's normal. It's not like bugs or anything. So guys, thank you for joining us today. Taylor from behind the camera was filming, but still here with me present. And we are teaming up mother-daughter duo style to give you plant care tips and you know, take us on our plant care journey together. Us being planty, you know, parents who are really into Hoya, wanted to share our knowledge and advice on how to take care of Hoya. And we absolutely love our Hoya. We always go Hoya hunting. We do, all the time. And I mean, I want to give Plant Bar a plug because when we first started Hoya hunting, we would go there to get the long vining Hoyas because they have some good ones there. Anyway, they just opened up a new store in Charlottesville, North Carolina, by the way. So if you're in that area, it's a place where you want to swarm really fast because all the good plants go quick. And they have a good grower. So yeah, I'd hop on that train. Anyway, hey, hit that thumbs up if you like this video. It really helps the algorithm, you know, find more videos like this one. And yeah, so, and subscribe. If you are following these videos, watching these videos, it'd be awesome if you guys subscribe and show us your support by subscribing. Yeah, so Taylor, anything do you want to add?
Follow Plant Lux on Instagram. She posts when she's gonna upload, along with just like plant pictures and other types of plant content.
Yay, yes, I do. Okay, good. All right, cool. All right, guys, I will see you in the next one, and you have a great night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.